Commerce Alive Today presents
Linens and Things. Eugene Wallace Calkin laid the initial groundwork for Linens and Things Incorporated when he was only 22 years old and began what would be a 7-year stint with Allied Purchasing Corporation, the buying office for the second largest department store chain in the United States. In 1958 he entered into a partnership with the retail discount chain known as Great Eastern Mills Incorporated. In that company's stores, called Great Eastern Linens Incorporated, Calkin set up leased linen departments. Meanwhile, Great Eastern Mills sold its business and its 50% share of Great Eastern Linens to Diana Stores Corporation, a ladies' apparel store chain with a strong market position in the southern United States. Thereupon, Diana Stores opened a chain of stores, named Miller's Discount Department Stores, in which Great Eastern Linens operated the linen and curtain department. Diana Stores later sold its company and its 50% interest in Great Eastern Linens to Beverly Hills-based Dalen Incorporated, a national chain of department stores that leased departments for health and beauty aids. In 1970 Dalen bought Calkin's share of Great Eastern Linens in exchange for Dalen stock. In 1975, however, Dalen filed for bankruptcy, and Calkin's stock became almost worthless. During an interview reported in the May 1998 issue of the UVM Record, a University of Vermont publication, Calkin recalled how this bankruptcy affected both his finances and his self-esteem. "It was absolutely a devastating blow to my life. To me, there was no alternative but to go back into business," said Calkin. Calkin did just that. In 1975, from the Dalen bankruptcy court, he bought 7 of the leased departments and specialty stores he had started for that company. This 7-unit retail chain with annual sales of $2 million was the beginning of Linens and Things Incorporated, one of the country's first specialty retail stores dedicated to home furnishings and decorative accessories. Having experienced the unpredictable consequences related to dependency on landlords, Calkin turned away from the operation of leased departments and applied a novel set of merchandising techniques to the development of Linens and Things as a chain of specialty retail stores. Eugene Calkin had learned about the European hypermarches, stores in which storage cubes filled with food or general merchandise were piled up to the ceiling, thereby saving space and reducing expenses. This merchandising concept later became popular in the United States in discount chain stores, such as those of Sam's Club, BJ's Wholesale Club, and Home Depot. Influenced by the concept of the hypermarket no-frills warehouse environment, Calkin used his retailing experience to create the retail industry's off-price prototype. He opted for stores with high ceilings in order to save space by installing 10-foot-high, warehouse-type shelving for piling up storage cubes. He could then display in 7,000 square feet the quantity of merchandise that previously would have taken 12,000 to 13,000 square feet. In this way, Linens and Things cut expenses especially for rent, lighting, and taxes and turned a profit while selling quality products at discount prices. "When I went into off-price, the timing was right and we had the right physical format," Calkin later commented in an interview for a June 1990 story in Home Fashions magazine. The soft economy of the 1970s did elicit enthusiastic consumer response to Linens and Things off-price stores. Other retailers in the home textiles industry kept an eye on the chain's rapid growth. For instance, Bloomingdale's Norman Axelrod, who would later serve as Linens and Things CEO, president, and chairman, remembered that Gene was very dynamic. Selling brand names in a low-cost environment was a groundbreaking concept, Axelrod commented in a 1995 interview for Business News New Jersey. By 1983 CVS Corporation was also attracted to Linens and Things, by then a 55-store chain with sales of over $85 million, and soon acquired the chain. After the sale, Calkin stayed on to direct the company for 2 years and was succeeded by his longtime assistant, Robert Caron. Sales from 116 stores reached $145.3 million for 1985, $163.4 million from 131 stores for 1986, $175.8 million from 144 stores in 1987, and $180 million for 140 stores by 1988. Caron's marketing philosophy, however, was very different from that of Calkin, who was attuned to the volatile, evolutionary nature of the retail industry and had noted an emerging trend to larger stores. In fact, before Calkin's departure, the company already had experimented with the profitable operation of an 18,000 square foot store and had begun to increase the things side of the business in order to meet customer requests for a larger selection of decorative home accessories. Karen, however, held back on making changes and, according to Lasseter's article, he scrimped on spending to keep prices low, and sales stagnated. In January 1988, CVS Corporation asked Norman Axelrod, then senior vice president at Bloomingdale's in New York City, if he would run Linens and Things. Axelrod reportedly hesitated because the company had a lot of problems, but Stan Goldstein, Melville's chairman, agreed to invest more money in Linens and Things, and in 1988 Axelrod joined the company as chief executive officer. Axelrod had kept abreast of the radical and dramatic changes taking place in industry and individual lifestyles during the 1980s. Corporate structures were crumbling. Banks, brokerage houses, department stores and specialty stores. Maintaining an inventory large enough to meet consumer demand and having products out on the floor required much space. Axelrod recognized that the superstore concept that had inspired Calkin might solve the space problem. In September 1988, Linens and Things opened its first superstore in Rockville, Maryland. In 1989, the company started to convert its store base to superstores ranging in size from 35,000 to 40,000 gross square feet and began to close all but the most profitable and traditional stores. The superstore format was meant to save a customer's time by having inventory visible and accessible on the selling floor for immediate purchase. To further enhance customer satisfaction and loyalty, Linens and Things strove to provide prompt, knowledgeable sales assistance and enthusiastic customer service. The company offered competitive wages, training, and personnel development in order to attract and retain well-qualified, highly motivated employees dedicated to providing efficient customer service. Recognizing the increasing propensity of consumers to spend more on home decor, Linens and Things targeted its product selection to reflect the broadening trends of the 1990s. The breadth and depth of Linens and Things' extensive merchandise offerings enabled guests to select from a wide assortment of styles, name brands, colors, and designs within each of the company's 6 major product lines. An effort was made to present merchandise in a more visually appealing, customer-friendly manner. The company emphasized its won't-be-undersold policy and explored opportunities to increase sales in its Things merchandise without sacrificing market share or customer image in the linen side of the business. Linens did not engage in high/low discounting but 2 clearance events annually, in January and June, noted James Mommerell in Discount Store News, an industry publication. He also commented that the company did distribute seasonal flyers containing promotional offers but that the main message, expressed in the store's slogan, was consistent: "We give you more for less. Every day." From 1988 through 1995, Linens and Things introduced 101 superstores, resulting in the closing of 85 traditional stores. However, although the total number of stores increased only by 15, the company's gross square footage more than tripled, going from 1.4 million square feet on January 1, 1992, to 4.8 million square feet by the end of 1995. Net sales, after slow growth from 1988 to 1992, increased annually with added momentum. With a view toward maintaining a low-cost operating structure, the company also instituted centralized management and operating programs and also invested significant capital in its infrastructure for distribution and management information systems. In 1995, the company began full operation of its 275,000 square foot, state-of-the-art distribution center in Greensboro, North Carolina. The center's ED capabilities optimized allocation of products to the sites having the highest potential for sales and inventory productivity. Use of this center resulted in lower freight expense averages, more timely control of inventory shipment to stores, improved inventory turnover, better in-stock positions, and improved data flow. Freed from the responsibility of receiving inventory, sales associates had more time to be present on the selling floor to serve the company's guests. In October 1995, CVS Corporation, Linens and Things parent company, decided to spin off some of its subsidiaries. On November 26, 1996, Linens and Things effected an initial public offering of its common stock. CVS retained approximately 32.5% of the shares, but sold them during 1997. In response to consumer demands for one-stop shopping destinations, Linens continued to balance its merchandise by bringing in a fuller assortment of things. This shift significantly impacted net sales. The Things side of its business increased from less than 10% of net sales in 1991 to 35% in 1996. The company's long-term goal was to increase the sale of Things merchandise to approximately 50% of net sales. The chain also moved toward more upstairs brands and more elegant presentations of its merchandise. In a continual effort to offer the best possible customer service, Linens 'n Things also installed satellite transmission for credit card authorizations and upgraded its point-of-sale system. The company also further refined its planning process through a comprehensive ED system used for substantially all purchase orders, invoices, and bills of lading. Combined with automatic shipping notice technology used in the distribution systems, the ED system created additional efficiencies by capturing data through barcodes, thereby reducing clerical errors and inventory shrinkage. By the end of 1996, net sales increased 25.4% to $696.1 million, as compared to $555.1 million in fiscal 1995. The company opened a total of 36 superstores in 1996, increasing gross square footage by 28% to approximately 4.6 million gross square feet. Linens 'n Things superstores continued to grow in size, number, and product line. The operative strategy was to expand market share in new and existing markets, to increase store productivity levels at existing units, and to penetrate new markets in which the company could become a leading operator of superstores for home furnishings. New markets were located primarily in the western region of the United States, in trading areas of 200,000 persons within a 10-mile radius and having the demographic characteristics that matched the company's target profile. According to Alan M. Rifkin and Kevin M. Hunt's Home Furnishings Handbook, Linens 'n Things targeted its product selection to reflect the broad trends of the 1990s, with an emphasis on consumers' increasing propensity to spend more on home decor. The company succeeded in making its stores an exciting experience for today's consumer, who continued to prefer home-related goods at the expense of apparel, wrote Rifkin and Hunt. Linens 'n Things net sales for fiscal 1997 increased 25.6% to $874.22 million, compared with $696.1 million for the same period in 1996. During 1997, the company opened 25 new stores and closed 18 stores. Total square footage of stores increased 16.2% to 5.5 million square feet. Sales from traditional stores represented less than 5% of total sales. In April 1998, the Linens 'n Things Board of Directors approved a 2-for-1 split of the company's common stock to be effected in the form of a stock dividend distributed on May 7, 1998. Commenting on the results of the first quarter of fiscal 1998, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Axelrod declared that the company began 1998 with an improved sales and earnings performance, which carried over from a strong 1997 performance. The operating margin for the quarter showed meaningful improvement over the prior year as a result of the increase in comparable store net sales, improved selling mix, and lower markdowns. The surprise to the bedding industry was that although sales of bedding specialty chains dropped to 11% in 1997 from 13% in 1996, Super Specialist Bed Bath & Beyond Incorporated and Linens 'n Things Incorporated have been growing, both financially and in importance to the whole textiles industry, wrote David Gill in a 1998 issue of Home Textiles Today. By way of explanation, Gill quoted Chip Fontenot, President and Chief Executive Officer of New York-based Decorative Home Accents. "You have to understand that there are only 2 specialty chains that are of any size, and both of these are emphasizing things. Fewer and fewer customers are running to these stores to buy sheets, while more and more of them are running there to buy kitchen magnets," quipped Fontenot. Linens 'n Things' broad mix of things was obviously in sync with the increasing trend of consumer spending for the home. As the 21st century drew near, the future looked bright for Linens 'n Things. The company planned to open 30 superstores in 1998 while closing 13 traditional stores, thereby expanding its square footage by 17%, and to maintain this expansion rate through the next several years by opening 35 to 40 superstores annually. Moreover, the company's ability to keep in step with changing trends and lifestyles, its flexible merchandising strategy, and its continually updated POS and ME systems all allowed the company to increase market share through expansion and increased productivity. In the late 1990s, the company was within reach of increasing things by up to 50% and was gradually closing its remaining traditional stores as the annual increase of its superstores kept consumers coming to Linens 'n Things for quality home textiles, housewares and home accessories at everyday low prices. The company was acquired in February 2006 by Apollo Global Management, a private equity limited partnership, for $1.3 billion. As a part of the transition from a public company to the private-owned business, the position of CEO went from Norman Axelrod to Robert D. Nicola. Alongside of him were several executives such as F. David Coder, who is president, and Omer Fancy, who is the executive vice president of marketing. According to Form 10-Q filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission for the quarterly period ended September 29, 2007, Linens Holding Company and subsidiaries reported net sales of $666.8 million versus $658.2 million in the year earlier period. The increase in net sales was primarily due to the opening of new stores since September 30, 2006, offset by the impact of a decline in comparable store sales. The decline in comparable store sales was primarily due to a decline in customer transactions, partially offset by an increase in average transaction value. The operating loss was $56.6 million against a loss of $17.9 million a year ago. After net interest expense and other income and expense, the loss before income taxes was $79.2 million compared to a loss of $41.7 million. After provision/benefit for income taxes, Linens Holdings reported a net loss of $79.9 million versus a net loss of $27.4 million. On April 17, 2008, the company was seeking to sell its highly profitable Canadian division, but no one at Linens & Things would confirm nor deny this, saying only that an advisor had been hired to explore strategic alternatives. Ultimately, the Canadian Linens & Things stores met the same fate as their U.S. counterparts. On May 2, 2008, Linens & Things filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and closed 120 stores. In August 2008, Linens & Things devised a plan to emerge from bankruptcy early in 2009. Under the plan, the retailer intended to reverse many of the strategies introduced after the company was bought by Apollo. Chief among those tactics was a shift to splashy clearance sales and product promotions. Revised management wished to return Linens & Things to an everyday, low-price model it had pursued during its earlier years as a public company. It also wished to improve the quality of its merchandise and to keep shelves stocked in timely fashion, the paper said. On October 7, 2008, Bloomberg News reported that Linens & Things asked the bankruptcy court for permission to auction the remaining 371 stores and hold store closing sales. On October 14, the company announced its official sale to a group of asset recovery specialists. The company began going out of business sales at its remaining stores in both the United States and Canada and on the chain's website, lnt.com, on October 17. The sales concluded on December 28, 2008 in all stores, but Linens & Things continued the going out of business sale on its website until February 15, 2009. Following the chain's closure, a vacant store in Middletown, Rhode Island was used by film director Wes Anderson in 2011 to construct and film sets for his film Moonrise Kingdom. In 2009, Linens & Things emerged from bankruptcy as planned and announced that the website would remain open for business following the conclusion of the primary online store closing sale. The e-commerce site was taken over by new ownership to continue the same focus as the brick-and-mortar stores prior to their closing. Following the conclusion of business on the original website on February 15, 2009, customers were redirected to the online store's new home, originally located at thenewlt.com but later relocated to the old domain name, lnt.com. Linens & Things was sold on December 9, 2013 from Gordon Brother and Hilco Global to the Galaxy Brand Holdings, subsequently shutting down the website in 2018. The brand is currently under the ownership of Retail E-Commerce Ventures, a holding company founded by Alex Mayer and Ty Lopez, which is dedicated to acquiring and reviving distressed brands as e-commerce businesses. Rev has also acquired a number of other brands, such as Dress Barn, Modell's Sporting Goods, the Franklin Mint, and Pier 1 Imports. On August 31, 2021, Linens & Things' current parent company, Sequential Brands, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Things is going out of business. business with savings of 25 to 50% store-wide. Outfit your home for the holidays at liquidation prices on all bedding and bath, small appliances, and more. Set your holiday table with 30 to 40% off all dinnerware, glassware, and flatware, and as much as 50% off gourmet chafing dishes, roasters, and more. Plus, top off your gift list with 40% off all personal care electrics, including razors, hair dryers, and chair massagers. Shop the going out of business sale now at all.
If you have any fond memories, please indicate it at the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and like.